All right, we are live. Whoop, a hiccup. Excuse me. We are live and back with another weekly reject show, the weekly double feature. And I am joined by my lovely wife and Mr. Cody House. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys? How was your weekend?
Busy.
It was busy. Yeah, it was very busy and eventful,
Oh,
filled with
cool.
filled with car issues and
Oh, not cool.
helping a buddy of mine move or get his dad moved up to Austin and
Ooh.
juggling work and while having car issues. It was eventful.
It was everything everywhere all at once.
Oh,
Yes,
bam.
exactly.
Got to
But
keep it on topic just a little bit, once in a while.
mm, but we survived. We survived and we're here. And how was your week or weekend?
My weekend was good. It went by too fast
Always.
because
Yeah,
because
it always do.
because my weekend actually ends Saturday night because I work on Sundays.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well, fun. But yeah, we are. I guess we'll go ahead and kind of ease into tonight's show. We are celebrating Asian Pacific Islander Month. I hope I put that in the correct order. Uh,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
You
I'm
were
sorry.
practicing. Good job.
No disrespect. Like I really do. Sometimes things get mixed up in my head and they come out wrong. And I do want to make sure I say it right. So, but but yeah, we are talking everything, everywhere, all at once, and Parasite. Um,
Yes. Yes, because Everything Everywhere All at Once recently is the most recent Best Picture winner. In fact, it kind of swept the Academy Awards in a way a movie has not done in a long time. I thought, why don't we cover two films that feature cast and creators of this heritage? So that's Everything Everywhere All at Once and Parasite.
yeah, and
What a pairing. Oh my gosh.
I mean, a little bit like it's a good double feature, but also they are two very different kinds of movies at the same, even though they both deal with family.
right, yeah, they're like they both start out kind of I don't want to say lighthearted, but kind of dark comedy-ish, and then totally take a left turn towards the end of them of each film.
Well,
And
I think Everything Everywhere. I don't clock it. I want to say it's probably about 30 minutes in. It could be, and you see little hints if you've
right,
seen the movie more than once, like something's going on. But it's a little bit sooner. Plus, you kind of knew in the advertising with Everything Everywhere that it was going to be kind of crazy, like in its storytelling structure.
right, and you mentioned how it swept the awards and the Oscars like it did, and that's I really the last film that I just really remember getting that much attention was was it, is it Crazy? What was that film that I have yet to see? Crazy Rich Asians.
Well, I guess let's go ahead and get into it because it keeps being brought up. So we'll just talk Everything Everywhere first, and then go into Parasite if that's okay. I
Yeah,
know,
that's
I know.
great. That's good. I didn't know. I wasn't really sure which one we wanted to segue
Well,
into.
I know normally we do chronologically by release, but since we keep hitting points, so it's funny you mentioned Crazy Rich Asians because that was a very successful, popular film, which also has Michelle Yeoh in it, and
Well,
it's
before that, I'm sorry, real quick. Before that, the only other film that I just remember getting that much attention was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Well, yeah, for sure. If you're talking about like Asian themed films getting, because Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon did get nominated for Best Picture. Ang Lee was nominated for Best Director. There was a lot of other nominations. I believe it might have won Best International Feature as well. But yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once was a insanely popular film due to its subject matter. And then it kept sweeping awards season, even though people are like, it's not going to win the Oscar. It's not an Oscar movie. The Oscars, they're all a bunch of old white men. They're not going to like this movie as much as everybody else likes it. And it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, which a lot of people thought that was the only nomination it was going to get. And not only did it win Best Supporting Actor for Ke Huy Quan, Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress, and Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress. And it won 7 of the 11 awards it was nominated for.
And well deserved too. I mean, every single one of them.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, but it's funny you mentioned Crazy Rich Asians, even if you didn't mean to mention it, because that is the movie that Ke Huy Quan decided, well, maybe there are roles for me in Hollywood. I can get a movie, because he kind of quit acting because he didn't want to take roles because he said they were basically stereotypes.
Right. And didn't he go back to was it China or Japan?
He worked on a Wong Kar-wai film, which is one of the directors and styles they're influencing in this movie. Like when they're in the universe where she's like a movie star.
Right.
That's kind of them, like their take on a Wong Kar-wai film.
Well, that's cool.
And he even, I think, did like stunt work or fight choreography for a while too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He was a stuntman over there for a while and a stunt choreographer. But good for him. Like he's, if anybody, he deserved it. Like, I mean, I know, Michelle Yeoh and all those the other actresses and actors in that film just did phenomenal, but he really had like a true underdog story, and I'm glad that he kind of has come out on top now. Yeah, I had his moment.
Well, I think everyone just finds him very sweet and enduring. Like his acceptance speech made me cry. Like he's just that kind of guy. He seems genuine and nice. And even though this is a mother-daughter story, I think if you didn't have him in that role as playing kind of like the heart of this family, I don't know if the performance would have been as good. Like, say, it had been like Jackie Chan, who almost, I think, is who they were considering.
Oh wow. Well, I'm so glad, I'm nothing against Jackie Chan, but I'm so glad they went, in the direction that they did.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to see him and Michelle Yeoh together, because that's kind of where she got her career start, was working with Jackie Chan in his movies. But yeah. I'm kind of glad they went with the direction they did, especially like finding out like the part of Jackie Chan's real life. Like apparently Jackie Chan has a queer daughter, but he has like nothing to do with her.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. That's that's still a major issue over there that a lot of people just overlook, or they don't realize, is they are very they are not very accepting over there with that, because of their traditions and beliefs and whatnot. And but yeah, I mean, it was kind of a shock when I found that out too. Like you grow up watching Jackie Chan and you want him to be a nice guy, and then you find out, something bad. It is kind of disheartening.
Yeah, that is disappointing, but enough about that, I think. I mean, The guy's a legend. He's the original Tom Cruise as far as someone doing their own stunts. But we're here to talk about this amazing movie.
Right.
And yeah, I just love this movie, and I think it's really it's sweet but also bizarre, and was not only maybe the best film of 2022, but it was definitely the best movie dealing with multiverses. Sorry, Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, it was so well done. I like the second watch was just as good, if not better, because you're just picking up on things that you missed. And um but I totally agree with you, Cody. As far as multiverses go, they did such an awesome job with this. And there's a picture of Michelle Yeoh holding up her um her dialogue, her script, and that had all these little colored tags in it with all of her different selves, and it was just insane. It looked like a dictionary. It really did, or a phone book. And it was wild that she was able to do that. I mean, she's already talented, and
those scenes where realities kind of shatter, I feel like that's probably what it felt like to like the filming schedule of this was like, just because everything's already out of order, and now it's just
yeah,
it's like 10 different movies.
it's especially when you're trying to make it make sense. Like, you try to look at it as an actor, you're like, okay, I've read this script, and it's a wild concept, but how are you going to pull it off? And they, a lot of times, or most times, they film out of order anyway. So I guess maybe you're used to it, maybe, but to me, it's still just a wild concept, just to film.
Oh,
And
for sure.
all of these different, multiple versions of this character that you're trying to play, and being able to pull each one of them off in some slight or different enough way to make it a different character.
Yeah, let's just talk about how many genres. So this is like an immigrant family story, right? Multi-generational story. It's a mother-daughter story.
Right.
It's a comedy. It's a sci-fi movie, which this is the first technical sci-fi film to win Best Picture. It's a bit of a romance. It's a bit of an absurd comedy because we live in a world where people have hot dog fingers and they're using dildos to attack people and stuff. Yeah, I mean, hats off to all of them because that's got to be something an actor's not sure. More than usual, right? More than usual with filming a movie, having to play that many different versions of yourself.
It was kind of like finding out in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the first scene that they filmed was them saying goodbye at the Haven, at the piers on the but yeah, that's still wild. That's awesome though. Again, that just shows their yeah, that just goes to show the talent that they have.
Yeah, and so I'd heard different theories about this movie. So this movie's directed and written by two guys called the Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Shiner. And some people felt like they wanted to tell a family story, but felt like they had to put in like these genre elements to get people to watch it. And other people were like, no, they wanted to do this genre movie but they wanted to put some human drama in it to make it like more substantial. But Daniel Kwan has quoted that like him and the other Daniel are just like, because it's kind of autobiographical for him. about his mother in a lot of ways, and he was like, "What if we put my mom in the Matrix?"
That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Which that makes total sense watching the movie, right? You can definitely tell the Matrix influence on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
You mean how
right.
they're like logging in different realities with the most bulky, kind of dated looking, like Bluetooth earpieces, I think. And they're in like an old truck or whatever their little base is that they're jumping from.
Oh, and the actress, forgive me for not having this actress's name down, but the actress who played the daughter, and
Stephanie Sue. Yeah, so I'm
she
not
looks.
mad at the universe or the world that Jamie Lee Curtis finally got an Oscar because, I mean, Lord, she had never even been nominated before because she's amazing and she had a great speech too. But honestly, that is the performance that should have gotten the Oscar.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. That man, by the end of that, you're like, she sold the crap out of that, and her evil. I mean, from the time she walks in that Elvis suit. No,
Take
really.
that, Austin
Okay.
Butler.
Yeah, no joke. There have been a lot of great hallway scenes in the last 10 years of cinema. You've got the Daredevil scene, you've got the Punisher scene, you've got the scene in what movie am I thinking? Oh, anyway, lots of hallway scenes with fights where they're just kicking
Yeah.
ass down the hallway. But hers was so bizarre and so awesome. I mean, it ranks up there, in my opinion, in some of the best hallway fight scenes ever.
Yeah, it's almost old boy level style.
Yeah, you had which I have not seen Old Boy, and I need to watch that. But
Well, watch the Korean version, don't watch the American remake.
oh, with Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured I'd want to watch the original. But yeah, man, just such wild scenes, and one of my favorites is the one at the. I hate to skip ahead, but the fight scene at the end where she's fighting up the stairway, and she's like, she doesn't kill him or kick their butt, but by the end of it, she's like, it's like fighting them and then ending in a warm hug. Yeah. Yeah, that mom love battle was awesome. Yeah, because it was so different. Yeah, you're used to seeing bodies hit the floor, and then by the end of it, everybody's just sitting there in kind of like this bliss, like, oh, well, that's what I needed. I just needed a warm hug from my mom, and then, uh, yeah, it was just so wild. Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't it wild that the concept of this is like, you know, in the reality of Michelle Yeoh's character, is it Madeline? Is that her name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn, thank you. Like all these different hobbies she has or has tried, like in another universe, that's what she is. So can you think of all the things you ever thought about being or wanted to be when you were growing up or tried to do and kind of failed at? Like there's an alternate version of yourself where they succeeded in that.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's a cool
I think
concept.
this movie tricked us all into a little bit of like speed therapy, just like a blast of introspection that maybe will lead to something positive, hopefully.
Well, that was another thing that was commented on why maybe this movie did so well was like it kind of captures like the ADD of our society now because you know we're always constantly scrolling or looking at like videos or our phones and it's only for like short amount of time. We're not like engaging ourselves for long periods of time. Oh, this is boring. What else is there?
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
Which I could see where some people were afraid the Academy was not going to jive with this because of that. But the movie won the Writers Guild, the Producers Guild, the Directors Guild, and it won Screen Actors Guild for Best Ensemble.
Wow.
Only one movie since they've had all these guilds didn't go on to win Best Picture after winning all of those, and that was Apollo 13. Every other time,
Man,
they win.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Like, man, they're just so, again, like I've seen it twice now, and I know in another couple of months I could probably go back and watch it again. Like, it's just that good
Yeah. It really is.
and that engaging. Like you said, it's like,
brain puzzle.
yeah, it's an ADHD movie, and that was just a
They finally made a movie for us.
yeah. No, really, it's engaging enough that you don't want to look at your phone or
Oh,
uh
no.
it
You
does
got
have your
all the
undivided
googly eyes
attention.
and all the little like Easter eggs to itself that this
Yeah.
whole movie is.
Yeah, it's got so much stuff going for it. We got a musical sort of in there. They make fun of a Disney movie with Ratatouille. And guess who's the voice of the raccoon?
Who?
Randy Newman,
Oh man, that is
What?
great.
who's done so many Pixar songs.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally missed that.
Well, this song they sing, I was telling Chris, sounds like, oh man, now I can't remember the song that it was.
I mean, it sounds like every Randy Newman song. That's what they were playing off of.
I know it does.
Oh, when him and the raccoon are singing when they're cooking in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a specific song that I was like, that sounds almost exactly the same, and now I've got to go look for it.
But yeah, there's just so much stuff that makes you laugh and makes you cry and
Oh, I do. I don't hold back. This movie is so chaotic. It's such a roller coaster that you're like, I'll circle back around to laughing. It's okay.
well, you do feel everything and everywhere.
Exactly. It gives you like little bite-sized emotional states to just work through.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I was totally like I missed it in theater, and I'm sad because this would have been great to see on the big screen. But even just watching it at home is such a joy. It's such a I don't know. It's just such an amazing movie. Like it's very well deserving of every award it has gotten and the hype.
Yeah, it's a movie that, was popular by commercial and critical success, and it deserves all the accolades it's gotten. And let's not forget 90-year-old James Hong in this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
right?
he was awesome as well. I love when he comes speeding up on that cart of his wheelchair, his electric wheelchair, and
That's
like
his Professor X wheelchair?
yeah, like knocks her through the wall and just like backs up.
Yeah. I love also when like all the stuff's happening and she's like, "Where's my dad?" And he's like, "He's fine. He's in the break room eating all that pudding."
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh.
I'm like, that's such an old person thing, but what are you gonna do?
Right?
Especially in like an emergency where everybody's like, get out of the
I'm
building.
not gonna lie. Maybe that's where I'd go to stress eat if I knew something was going down. Like, oh, you know what?
Somebody
If I'm going out, I'm
somebody
gonna
brought something good for lunch today. and they're
down
not
all
gonna
this
get to
pudding
eat
and
it
not feel
anyways.
guilty about it.
Well, I also love, they reference, like everything bagels because it's called everything, but I love like when they're hiding and he sees the bagels and cream cheese. He's like, "We don't have cream cheese in my universe."
Yeah, like all the dairy products sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna regret how delicious that tastes later, but he doesn't know yet.
I'm glad you brought bagels up because that was one of the things I loved was the black hole, the evil bagel.
Yeah.
I loved the metaphor and the concept of that and the way they portrayed it. I thought it was awesome. I loved it. Again, like it takes you several watches to comprehend it and what they are trying to get across. And maybe that's what, like you mentioned earlier, where people's attention spans aren't that great. So if they had gone the traditional way, the traditional drama or dramedy with this, I don't think it would have gotten the attention, or people uh, would not have been talking about it because they're just, oh, well, it's another like Asian dramedy. But they wrapped it up in such a wild concept with the visuals, and I love the term ADHD movie, which I think I'm going to work that into Video Store Rejects now. Is
We love a movie that fits our attention span.
Yeah, we'll have the ADHD movie of the week. Honorable mention of the week. I think that's a great concept. But anyway, yeah, it's very engaging. I love the delivery of it and the metaphors and the meaning behind it. And I really think that they went the right direction. And because of how crazy it is, it got the attention that it so rightfully deserved.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think had they just done this if you had seen their previous film, you would know they would never have done just a straight dramedy. But like if it was just a dramedy or like a multi-generational story dealing with the mother and her daughter, and they have a conflicted relationship, and then she's also dealing with her issues with her husband and her father.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's described a Lifetime movie, and that just does not sound appealing to me at all. You know,
it sounds like something that you take your mother out to see for Mother's Day.
Like that would probably something I'd never watch, and not. I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but it's one of those things that just doesn't interest me because
it sounds like it's going to be such a downer, and it's going to make you think too hard about your family that you are automatically repelled by the concept of standalone.
Right. But again, with the way they delivered it, it's just amazing. Like I accept the family drama because it's presented in such a way that's so cool. You know.
Yeah. I just feel bad they have to like do strange things and have things enter various orifices to like unlock a different version of themselves.
Really interesting theme in the whole movie.
Yeah, I think it had to be, again, it was a concept that had to be so bizarre that would make you laugh, but be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. I mean,
well, their previous movie was about a guy stranded on an island where Daniel Radcliffe played a farting corpse.
Yes.
That's in my to watch list, and
well, now we know we have to watch it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Was it the human
Swiss Army Man?
Yeah, the Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty odd.
Similar vibes as far as like it's got a lot of heart and tenderness on top of being just strangely bizarre and weird humor.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that pretty sums it up. Pretty much sums it up on my end. Like I think it's an incredible movie. I absolutely love it. I think it's deserving of every award, and I highly recommend it.
So one other bit of trivia info that's really cool. So Michelle Yeoh ended up winning Best Actress, even though for the longest time people didn't think she was going to end up winning, because Cate Blanchett was winning everything up until SAG. Same thing with Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis, no one thought was going to win.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Normally, at the Academy Awards, whoever won Best Actor usually presents Best Actress. Well, because the last year's Best Actor winner kind of had a little incident and was not allowed to come back to the ceremony for the acting categories, they presented them back to back and had two presenters. So Jessica Chastain and Halle Berry presented Best Actor and Actress.
Oh, wow.
Interesting, because Halle Berry is the only other woman of color to win Best Actress before Michelle Yeoh won. But they are also both Bond women.
Oh yeah.
They got that
Okay.
Bond girl magic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Michelle Yeoh Bond story was probably better. Which one was that? That was
As Tomorrow Never Dies. Yes, it's a slightly better than Die Another Day. But also watching that, you're like, why is Michelle Yeoh having to be a Bond girl? She could be her own spy. She doesn't need to be James Bond's sidekick.
right.
Like, she could probably beat up Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, great. I know she could.
Again, I'm not throwing shade at Pierce Brosnan. I love Pierce Brosnan, but yeah, she could take him.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I think we all have kind of the same thoughts on this movie and how awesome it is, and I think maybe we should go ahead and segue into Parasite,
I was just gonna say you should definitely watch this movie with your mom on Mother's Day.
yeah, that's a good.
Ah, well, you were gonna say you love. Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say earlier, I love how much I hate Jamie Lee Curtis at the beginning of this movie, and by the end, you're like, she's part of our family.
Yeah.
And she really leans into that civil servant tude, like
Very well. So,
vibe.
someone who's been there way too long, has been burned out, and is like, I'm not here to listen to your bullshit excuses.
Yeah.
All her hope for humanity. She's like, I don't get paid enough to have that kind of hope.
But
You
you
gotta
know
figure out
what?
your taxes.
I'm not saying we are all douchebags, but we have all had that moment at a job where it becomes so monotonous and there is a part of you that fades out to where you're just like, I don't know. I'm not here for that. But you know, you still strive to be a decent human being. And that's a good thing about her character was you're right. She was probably stressed and overworked and not here for any excuses, but by the end of it, you know,
She believes in people again, which is nice. A nice ending movie these days.
He's just so charming and sincere. You can't say no to that guy.
Yeah, who's gonna tell that?
Yeah.
And I love in her acceptance speech that she thanked the genre community, particularly the horror community, for she said, you have an Oscar now, because she knows that's where she got her career from.
Right.
Yeah.
And like she knows like those people still love her, and like she's done, and that's also why she's hardly hadn't been nominated before, because she's been in horror and action and comedies. Like genres largely ignored from awards.
Yeah. Well,
and I think even John Carpenter said something on Twitter when she won. So
nice. Well, speaking of horror,
gosh, this other movie.
It was more of a Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Than a horror film. But wow, I'm still thinking about this movie. How many days later? Like,
how many days?
It's been it's okay. Say a week. Say about a week. We watched about a week ago, but it was something else. I tell you, I went into this knowing nothing about this film, and I know that's hard to believe because it's been out for a while. But I seriously like, I would see articles and pictures and memes and stuff from this, but I just had no idea what it was even about. Like I did
what this movie is going to be, and so I was not looking forward to it. I was totally wrong and very glad about how wrong I was. I thought it was a horror movie, and it's not.
About an actual like a demon parasite or something.
Some kind of grudge kind of movie, and I'm like, believe I've watched this.
like the Parasite episode of the X-Files.
Yeah.
But I was very pleasantly surprised for this about this movie. Like, again, another movie that's deserving of its awards and whatnot. Because wow, even again, it's subtitled. I'm not sure if there was a dub version. We watched it subtitled.
If there is, I don't know, but this movie is a game changer as well. It is the first international film to win Best Picture.
Well, nice. I mean, good for them. Good for them. Very well deserved because, I mean, like I haven't seen. The acting was good. I think the acting was better in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but the acting for what this
Circumstances are totally
for
different.
the circumstances are better. And see, I don't like comparing because I know
They're not the same movie. You don't.
they're not the same movie, but it's the dialect, it's the dialogue delivery, it's the language delivery. It does. I mean, it's weird, but that does impact the acting in a way. And I hope I'm making sense. It doesn't detract at all, but from different deliveries and stuff, it's that way in any like a Hispanic film, any foreign language film. Like and I'm not saying that affects the. I don't know where I'm going. I think I'm messing
Are
this
you
up.
getting lost
I'm getting lost in my own,
in
but
the basement of your mind?
well, yes, in the basement of my.
I want that basement. I don't care about the house that's over the top.
That was a cool hidden basement.
So this movie won 4 Academy Awards, but talking about spoilers for this movie. And normally I tell people, why are you watching? Because we spoil. But if for some reason you have not seen Parasite yet and you are somewhat curious about watching it, watch it before you watch this episode. Because it's best to go into this as cold as possible. But speaking of that basement, one of the Academy Awards that did not win was Best Production Design.
Oh, ow.
Wow.
A little bit. Ow.
Yeah, that's.
It lost to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well, okay.
No.
I don't know, man,
It's
because
fair because it's on one location, whereas
Once Upon a Time
is
did
in
a
lot of different
great
places.
job of recreating 60s Hollywood, and I'm not an expert, but
Sure, look
just
me.
I mean, yeah, they did from the traffic to the buildings and the extras. I mean, I can kind of see that. Like, I'm not saying that Parasite didn't deserve it because the production design for the house alone and the aesthetic was awesome. And that is another thing I will say is the filmography of this movie is amazing. Like that's one thing that really stood out was the cinematography and the lighting and everything.
Well, I love movies like this that they start out as one type of movie. It's kind of like a really good 3-act structure.
Yeah.
And the movie completely changes genres in the middle of the movie.
Oh, it does. I mean, it very much felt like a.
Oh, I was waiting for it to get bad. I was waiting for it to get bad the whole time, and it made my stomach hurt.
Yeah.
You knew something was gonna go down, huh? You
Like, it can't all be this good the whole time. There's no happy ending to this movie.
And
monster.
And I think that's what kind of spoke across the globe about the success of this movie was, this movie is very much about income inequality, right? Like these people are so poor, they are going to stoop to this level to try and get up in the world. I mean, look where they're living. And what's funny is after this movie came out, South Korea was like, maybe we should look into better housing for people. Like, why would people have to live in these basement apartments?
Right.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's something when your own government
Yeah, too bad our government doesn't do that.
I was gonna say,
Right.
I don't think there could be a popular enough international movie to make our government ashamed enough to do anything different. I think we make some of the movies that we should be like, yeah, we should be embarrassed about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie won Best Picture, Best Director. Sorry, Quentin Tarantino, you didn't get your Best Director Oscar.
When
Best Original Screenplay, and then Best International Feature. But you mentioned the acting, Chris. This won the SAG award for Best Ensemble because this movie is an ensemble, whereas Everything Everywhere is pretty much Michelle Yeoh's movie with 4 really good supporting parts and then a bunch of extras.
Right. And I totally botched my comment earlier. I really hope I can articulate what I was trying to do. Like,
articulate it for you now. That's what he's saying.
yeah, no, yeah, you're right. And I think that's why maybe it felt different because it was an ensemble. It's all of their acting was phenomenal. I wasn't trying to say that it wasn't.
I would
But
still argue it's different, completely different circumstances.
It is.
You don't have to compare them.
It is. It's totally different. Two different, genres, and it did come off different. But I guess what I was trying to say is I do prefer the acting in Everything Everywhere All at Once. But Parasite still had an amazing acting in it.
Yeah. Everybody's great, and like it's just a well told, well structured movie from beginning to end.
Oh, it is, and like you said, it's totally a 1-2 punch because you go in with one thing, and then by the end of it, you're like, I get it, but it took a dark turn for me to get it.
Well, yeah, because it's like you totally get why these people are doing what they're doing. And part of you doesn't even feel bad that they're like using this rich family, even though I think maybe the mom and the kids are fine. It's really just the dad who's kind of a jerk.
Right. Yeah, you do. You are right about that. Like, you do empathize with them because everyone's been. I'm not gonna say we've all lived in squalor or anything, but I'm just saying everyone's had a point where you're scraping by and you're eating ramen and trying to make it ends meet, and you can relate to that. And then you're right, when they do kind of formulate this plan, you don't feel bad for them. I mean, you do kind of, you're like, okay, well, that's kind of a cool plan. And then towards the end, you're like, okay, maybe that was not such a good idea. We're kind of learning the lesson there.
Well, spoiler here, when we find out why the other lady who was working there was there and what she was doing, it then becomes sort of a dog eat dog where they really should be helping each other.
Right.
But, that's the old saying is once you've had a taste of the better life, you start becoming like those type of people and you don't want to give it up or even help someone else in that situation sometimes.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, okay, if you won the lottery, would you be the same person? Would you still have the same values and ideas, or would that slowly change you over time?
Instead of being like corrupting and evil, like Money buys you power, power corrupts. What if we just argue that if everybody had the same access to resources, that none of us would be so monstrous as to like act the way these people do?
We are not communists in this
resource
house.
scarce people fight over it to their detriment, everybody, comrades,
Yeah,
then there's no point in that.
right.
Yeah, if we lived in a Star Trek society where there's money doesn't matter, everyone has the same access to healthcare and food and shelter and everything you need in life, then there's nothing to be like, oh, I'm better than you, or oh, and like when the movie goes even darker near the end, like and all that stuff's happening, and the dad snaps because that other guy keeps talking about how smelly, which basically he's saying they have poor people smell, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see it kind of culminating, especially when the wife is on the phone and she's like, "Oh no, it's very impromptu. It's casual. It's last minute. You can wear sweatpants." And then everyone shows up in like suits and dresses, and it turns out to be like this whole soiree. And you can see the dad. He's lost sleep. His home just flooded. His Everything's kind of falling apart. Spoiler alert, guys. I'm sorry, but something they all had to endure something really weird the night before, which was very, very cringe-inducing, knowing that you were all under there with your entire family, and
not to mention they just, like found out there was a dude living in the basement.
yes, and he may have, he kicked the ex-maid down the stairs. He may have killed her. He doesn't know.
That was the wife that did that. The mom.
And it was all just like bam, 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 and you're like, man, everything is just falling apart, left and right. But super. I mean, again, very Twilight Zone. I think that's really why I was drew to this. I mean, it's such a great story and a movie, and like, again, award worthy. And but it also had a Twilight Zone. If you can't tell people, I'm a big Twilight Zone fan and advocate, and I will totally, if a film reminds me of like a Twilight Zone episode, I'll totally give it uh, a Twilight Zone star, and that's a very high compliment, because that means it was really great and it made you think and had some twists, and it had
Well,
you
and the
went in.
social commentary too.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a social commentary, but it's one of those that leaves you thinking afterwards. It lasts, it lingers with you. And I mean, it was amazing. I thought it was great. Like, I eventually want to watch it again. I don't know how soon, but it's a rewatch.
Oh, for sure. It's a very rewatchable movie just because you're like, can I just watch it now to just like admire the structure, or like will I get wrapped up in it again? Like,
Right. And I just want to watch the details, things that I missed. And
oh, you will notice it because like if you noticed, because you probably didn't think anything about it when you were watching it the first time, you thought they were probably like automatic lights. Like, every time the husband came home from the rich family and the lights would come on as he walked past him.
yeah,
And
just
then you realize who's doing it. It's that dude. Like, it's because that's his way of being like, thanks for feeding me.
right.
Even though the family totally doesn't know there's a dude in the basement hiding from debt collectors.
Yeah,
Which I,
oh, go ahead.
which I guess debt collection's worse in other countries than it is in America.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty rough overseas. It's a totally different system, and they can get pretty ruthless over it.
You're talking about building a fortified like
The,
safe bunker
the
for your
debt
house to
the
get away
debt
from
collection.
it? Yeah, some John Wick stuff.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's a good thing they're a rich family because that poor kid, he's gonna need a lot of therapy.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
yeah, that was. I will say there was one part of this that made me laugh out loud, and it was in all the chaos, and it's where the 16-year-old daughter, like you see him looking in the crowd, and she's got that dude slung over her back, and he's just carrying him piggyback, and I'm like, how in the heck did she get him up there when he's unconscious and had to have brain surgery? And I was like, holy moly, but it made me laugh. It was just so unexpected.
You
But that
know,
was
she.
that was kind
That's.
of oogie though. When he like in his 20s.
I'm gonna guess he's somewhere between 18 and 21, maybe 22, because they talk about him going to college. It is a little oogie. I'm like, I think she might even be 15. I don't know, like
Yeah.
because his buddy's like, I'm waiting till like she's in college, like
Thing to openly admit. What?
yeah, right? It's like I don't know like the rules and laws over there, but like also you're her tutor, so that's like you're kind of like her teacher.
Yeah.
That's called
You're a
grooming
predator.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny, like, cause she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna save him because he's so beautiful."
Yeah. Like everybody's running around, and like her parents are being stabbed, and
Back for her brother.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. She's like, oh, my K-pop.
My K-pop boy.
Yeah.
Oh, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, that is pretty funny amongst all that craziness.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also funny when he comes out of his coma and the cop's like, "Why is he laughing?" And the doctor's like, "He's been in a coma for 2 months."
Yeah.
Plus, who knows how much medication he's on?
Well, they said, well, the doctor was like, well, he had to have brain surgery, and I figured it was something that they had to cut or like repair in his brain that just made him like, because there was a
Oof.
dude that had brain surgery, and now he's like, he can't feel fear, like he doesn't have, he has the
self-preservation.
he has the capability of just like data, just to not feel um any sort of fear or caution or anything, which
Oh
is weird.
wow.
Yeah,
No, I don't think that's the case because as you see as the movie's ending, he kind of gets back to you know, more cohesiveness. But he's been in a coma for months, and the guy's like, "You're under arrest." He's like, "Okay, cops." And just
yeah.
like the police, oh, he's awake. We can arrest him now.
Then he gets really, really like
We've been waiting.
way too agitated that this person with brain trauma is laughing at him while he's trying to do his job, like taking himself way too seriously.
I'm just amazed he survived that blow to the head.
No. Oh,
And then when we were watching it this time, Jessica's like, "How did they get off with just community service?"
Right?
I guess because first time offenders and they didn't like
Right.
they personally didn't kill. Well, they can't prove the mom killed that woman, I guess.
I think the dad took the brunt of everything.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, you were scamming this family.
Yeah.
fraud charge.
Fraud, you made, they've created different records and names and stuff.
I think it was fraud, identity theft, and forgery, right? With their little hearing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Fraud, identity theft, and forgery, because the sister she forged all the documentations and stuff.
It's so nice that her dad's proud of her. He's like, man, if there were a Harvard for forgery, she would be top of her class. That's my girl.
So her sister took the brunt of the forgery, and she's dead, and the dad's missing, and he took the brunt for the murder, for all the murders. So I might can see doing like a year in some service,
I guess I could give him house arrest too,
house arrest. So I can kind of see getting a lighter sentence, but they're gonna. I mean, they should have served something.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
plus that poor woman was just so gullible.
right.
Yeah.
I did kind of feel sorry for her, but I did not feel sorry for her husband because he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And even when they were talking and he's like, "But you love her, right?"
Why was that so weird?
Right? Like, it's like, that's your wife. Of course you love her. And he's all like, "You shouldn't even be talking to me about this."
Right.
That's a red flag.
He's like, you're beneath me. How dare you mention my wife?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a great. I loved it. I thought it was very worthy of the awards. Again, both of these movies were such a great pairing. They're two opposite movies, but both very, very great movies.
Yeah, I got to see this movie while we were on vacation visiting Jessica's family, like her mom, and then we went and saw her dad in Arizona. So there was her mom said there was this really artsy theater in Tucson where she lived at the time. And of course it was artsy because when you went to the movie theater, I had the director's name in front of the movie.
Oh, nice.
And so I was like, we should see this movie because the other movie was The Irishman. And I'm sorry, Martin Scorsese, but I knew your movie was coming to Netflix. So I'm like, I'm going to be able to watch that. Like,
right. Yeah,
I don't know how I'm going to see this Korean movie,
Right.
And I'm like, my wife and stepdaughter and mother-in-law will probably enjoy this Korean movie much more than they will enjoy a 3-hour movie where we try to CGI Al Pacino and Robert De Niro to make them look younger about the mafia and Teamsters.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Passing Robert De Niro off as a 30-year-old in that movie. And the way he was kicking that dude in that one scene, and he was like, "I'm 30," or he was supposed to be really young in that scene.
Young guys don't hold their back from down here.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it's a very solid movie, and actually one of my favorite Pacino performances in a long time because he wasn't being like, I'm Al Pacino,
Well, he wasn't, being weird with Adam Sandler in Drag. That was like pretty rough. Al Pacino.
The Dunkachino?
That was Gary Busey Al Pacino.
But yeah, I'm glad I chose it. It was a really great, cool experience. And yeah, this movie's fantastic. And if this is your first Bong Joon-ho movie, two that are going to be a little bit easier for you to digest because they're multicultural casts, and I think one of them's completely in English. Okja, of course, I think is in a couple of languages, and that's a Netflix movie. But Snowpiercer, which is based on a French comic. Also,
that's good.
Yeah, it's also dealing. Well, both those films deal with social commentaries. Of course, Okja's about animal rights and like stuff like that. But Snowpiercer also deals with class in a way.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I heard that's really great. I'll have to add that to the list.
And the guy that plays the dad, I don't know his name. He is like very big South Korean actor. He's worked with pretty much all the big name directors over there, Park Chan-wook, and of course he was in two other Bong Joon-ho movies, Memoirs of a Murder, which is basically like based on a true crime that happened there. It's like Korean Zodiac, but it came out like 4 or 5 years before Zodiac.
Wow.
And he's in a monster movie called The Host that this guy also directed. But yeah, he's in The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. He's just in a lot. Oh, he's also in Snowpiercer. Yeah, he's just like I don't know. I don't know what American actor to compare him to, but he's just like whatever. I don't know. He's just in a lot of Korean films.
Kind of the everyman that, you know, I get what you're saying. Well, yeah, I thought this was a great double feature this week. Absolutely love both of them, and I think that they were great choices for Asian Island. Yeah, a whole list of movies to check out. Question: do we want to continue with some samurai movies for next week?
Okay, that was definitely what I was thinking about. Jessica said we should do something for Mother's Day that moms want to watch, but I do want to kind of keep with the Heritage Month because I know you wanted to pair like a samurai movie and a Western movie together.
Right. Well, why don't we do a samurai movie and a Mother's Day movie? It's kind of an odd
Okay.
pair. And the week after that, we can do a samurai movie and a Western.
Okay. All right.
Well, no,
Man.
we don't have to. That's just an idea. I'm throwing it out there. So
Oh, I like
maybe
that idea, but Um, do you want to count Parasite as the horror movie this month, or do you still want to do a different horror movie?
do we want to do a samurai and a horror movie for the last, and we can cover Halloween in May slash. And as a matter of fact, there might be we could do an Asian horror movie. How about that?
We could, yeah.
Ringu or The Grudge or something like that.
Well, I got, if we're gonna do a samurai slash Mother's Day movie, I think I got a good one for us to watch. Even though it's a 5 film series, we can just do the first film.
Okay, and then now the Mother's Day movie can be totally. Why don't we get Jessica and Lindsay? I'm trying to think real quick. Nobody else is the mother in our group, but there. You know what? There might be honorary mothers out there, and good for you. But we could get Lindsay and Jessica to pick a Mother's Day movie.
Well, I already told you my pick is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah, that could be.
We don't have to talk about it again. I'm just saying, I watch it on Mother's Day. I'm
That is a good Mother's Day movie, but let's
hear what Jessica picks.
Steel Magnolias or something, you know?
You
Yeah.
said Mother's Day / samurai movie, and I was like, is there a crossover that meets both of those?
Kill Bill.
That's right, Kill Bill.
Fried green tomatoes is Mother's Day. No, I don't know if that's.
I don't know if Jessica's gonna accept Kill Bill though for a Mother's Day movie. But that would go, and it would pair well with the movie I want us to do for samurai movie.
What's that?
Lone Wolf and Cub, Sword of Vengeance.
Yes, I'm down for that.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of sequels, but I was like, I guess we'll just go with the first one. And even though that's a dad, you know, it's about protecting a baby.
Right. No, that's good. That's I like that.
We just there's no samurai.
Raising Arizona. That might be, yeah, that could be a Mother's Day movie.
Yeah.
I think, well, we did Raising Arizona. Yeah. Well, we'll think about it. So we've got some more. We'll do Mother's Day and a samurai movie coming up, and then we'll do a an Asian horror movie and another Asian film to close out.
When is Nick's birthday? Isn't Nick's birthday this month too?
Oh yeah, yeah, we do need to do. Well, why don't we ask Nick to pick a film and then like an evening that he can actually um talk, and we'll just do a show like a one show a one episode show for his birthday or something. Like when because
Yes.
I know his schedule's been pretty hectic.
Right.
So that way we could just be like, hey, whenever is good for you, and if you want to, we'll go ahead and give us your movie, and we'll do a birthday episode or something. Because I'm always down to talk more movies.
I'm trying to see if he's got his birthday listed on Facebook.
He posted it in group chat.
Oh, okay.
And
That's why I was asking if it was the 21st or if I'm remembering a different date that I don't remember what I'm doing that day.
I
and
know it's going to be around the weekend. Yeah, it's the 21st. You were right. All right.
before I forget, happy anniversary to Video Store Rejects.
Yeah,
in
that's
the-
right.
in-
It's been 2 years, huh?
2 years.
It has been 2 years. Yeah, congratulations, us. I'm proud of us. I am thankful for all the friends we have made and the people who join in and the people who talk to us about movies and interact with us. And yes, and I love doing this, and I hope we get to continue for a very long time. And I love talking stuff. Yeah, as long as it's fun for everybody. And I appreciate all the new members that we have picked up and co-hosts. Jim and Rachel and Nick and yes, everybody, we appreciate you. And I just wanted to say happy anniversary to us, and thank you. Yeah, for giving us something to do. This gives us something to do every week. It's a little hobby. So yeah, this is a hobby. This is a fun hobby. I like doing what we do. So, and thank you, Cody. Thank you for sitting in every week and making the time. Yeah, and our Jiminy Cricket to our ADHD.
Okay, thanks. I didn't know I was the conscience to keep to your attention deficit. I mean, but I would be doing this with myself probably if nobody else. I'd just be like, hey, this movie, blah, 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 blah. So
I'm glad we get to talk because you give us so much insight, and you are the structure. Because some I just as you it's been 2 years. Surely you've picked up on it. I bounce around a lot and can go off on these rants and can I could
I
derail quickly, and
think we're all guilty of that.
you kind of snap us back into focus there. So we greatly appreciate you. Yeah. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you listening. And Cody, as always, we appreciate you. It was fun, and I'm glad we got to talk these two movies. And we will see you guys this week. I almost said next week because we're covering for last week's show, but this coming week we'll see you again. So
Yeah. I'll let you guys know what the Mother's Day movie will be.
okay. Any news on your director series that you
Yeah,
want
we're gonna do Splash Saturday with Kevin.
Cool. Okay, last what time? Do you know what time?
I'm sure it'll probably be in the morning. I haven't talked to him about time yet.
Okay. I'll let you know if I'll be able to make that one. But if not, you guys have a blast as always. I know y'all do. And
Well, feel free to watch anyways, even if you don't get to.
oh, I'll definitely watch. I'll be out en route if y'all do it earlier.
No, I meant feel free to watch the movie too, even if you can't join in to talk.
Oh, of course. Which film are you?
Splash. Ron Howard's Splash. Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah.
Oh, I love that, and I haven't watched it in a while, so that'll be a good movie to uh, rewatch, revisit. So, but all right, guys. Well, again, appreciate it, and we will catch y'all in a few days.
Yep, and have a good week. And it's getting warm out there. And I'm gonna recommend a movie. If you like these movies, you should definitely go see Guardians 3. It is just as good as the other two Guardians. And if you're feeling a bit of Marvel fatigue, this is probably the best Marvel movie in a long time, in my opinion. But I love the other two, so I know it's
Yeah,
not everybody's cup of tea.
I heard it was a good send off, so I'm trying to stay spoiler free.
I'm not gonna tell you anything, but I am gonna say one thing for Lindsay's sake, because I know she's an animal person. Might be a rough watch for Lindsay.
Does the space dog die?
No,
Okay, that's okay. I will keep your
but
word.
it goes into Rocket's backstory, so
Oh no. That's
so
Yeah,
so
I love raccoons. They are I if I could, I would have one as a pet, but
You should.
I shouldn't, so we don't. But I absolutely I love trash pandas. I love raccoons. Yeah,
that's
but
all I'll say though. But I just wanted to say that so she knows when she watches it. Like,
I'm ready to see it.
Thank you for that. Not ever watch a movie, anything bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed Ant-Man. I thought
it
it was
was fun for what it was, but I can see why people didn't like it.
Yeah, it was different. I thought it was fun. You know, again, like you said, for what it was, I enjoyed it. Fun popcorn movie. So, but anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna let you go, and we'll see you here in a couple days.
Yep. Everybody have a good week. Stay cool and be nice.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.